What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another week of football ahead, college football, week number 9. If you're new to my channel, I cover every game every single week in football. I do college, I do the NFL videos. Those come out on Thursdays, so look forward to the video tomorrow where I'll be covering every single game this week and my prediction on those games in the NFL. And of course, in both of these videos, I give you an official whiteboard winning free pick. Those were the picks we had last week. It was a 1-1 week. Our overall record, though, season to date, college and NFL, 10 wins and 4 losses. That is a 71% winning percentage just on my free picks. I hope you appreciate it. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Now we got NBA season kicking off, college basketball. We all remember how I did on hoops last year. So the basketball content will start to trickle into the channel here very, very shortly. But we'll remain focused on football. But guys, 10-4 on the free picks. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Definitely drop a like on today's video. You guys were so close last week to getting these videos to 500 likes. I want to be able to put my premium picks in the comment section for all you guys to have. So get those likes up, get this video to 500 likes, and I'll come right back to that comment section and I will put my best premium pick and I will pin it at the top of that comment section. And speaking of those premium picks, guys, we're looking to carry some momentum into this Saturday. Last Saturday, I went 6-3. We had a beautiful Saturday. We came up short on Arkansas +3. We came up short on Louisville +5.5. I believe we had. Maybe it was +5. Now we had a little kind of a midweek fun thing with some of those lesser schools for half a unit. That was a loser as well. So those were the only games we lost on. But out of 9 wagers, we had 6 winners. Looking to carry that momentum forward into this weekend. And guys, let's go back 3 weeks and just talk about my record, purely my record. I am 34-22, NFL and college combined over almost the last month of football. That is a 61% winning percentage. As soon as we start slam dunking some of these bigger plays, we are going to be piling up the money faster than you can even blink. And I have my biggest play already sent out to the client list this week, a 7.5 unit smash. Really looking forward to it, man. There's just a couple lines. This particular week might be a little bit lighter on volume, but there's some smash spots. And I'm going to hit them. I'm going to hit them hard. There's a couple lines that are just way off, way off. If you guys want to know, out of all these games, I give you my prediction on every game every week. But if you want to know the games I actually am going to submit my own money on, danspicks.net. The link is right in the description of this video. Hop on my website. You could try out a week of picks. You could do a month, whatever you want to do. But get those picks. 61%. The chance that I'm going to be picking winners over losers is good right now. I'm locked in 3 weeks of football. That's a pretty good sample size there. Over 50 bets made on football, hitting 61% of those. We're going to have a good weekend. I know it. I can't wait. We're going to finish this football season strong. And of course, those basketball wagers will start to trickle into the client list as well. It's really simple. When I say client list, everybody that signs up on the website, I put you right into a text list. So whether I have to email you to get your phone or you put it in there when you sign up, I'll get you on a text list. And anytime that I'm going to submit a wager of my own, I'm going to go ahead and send out that exact wager to the entire text list. How many units I put on it, the odds I got it at, and the exact wager that it is. So it's super simple. You'll get the text right to your phone. If you can just copy the bets and stick with the program, long-term, you'll be in good shape. I think we're just going to jump right into it. I feel good about the whiteboard winning free pick. I feel good about this week. I feel good about everything. We've had a couple of bad luck spots where the big plays haven't, come through by the skin of our teeth. But that's going to turn around. When you're hitting 61% of your wagers, things are just fine. And I'm not going to change a thing, man. We're gonna rock and roll right into this week. And yeah, of course, let's pull up FanDuel. Start going over these games. I think I covered everything. If I didn't, I'll just go ahead and leave a comment down there. If you guys have any questions about anything, leave your comments as well. And of course, put your favorite picks, parlays, whatever you guys are wagering on. Load up that comment section. I'm going to use FanDuel. I'm going to refresh FanDuel right now so we can get the most up-to-date odds we can possibly get. So let me bring that up on the screen for you guys. Let me double check here. Let's go to college football. Let's start rocking, man. Let's start rocking. A couple live games going on as I'm recording this video. Sam Houston, FIU. Interesting. Pretty low scoring game. But let's start with today, man. Tonight. Liberty, Kennesaw State. I mean, how do you bet on a game like this? How? Look at the total and look at the spread. Is Kennesaw State going to get over 10 points? Probably not. This is Liberty or pass, but it's a pass for me. I think this is a game where Liberty might be totally content with winning by 21, 23, 24 points, and somehow, some way, this bad Kennesaw State team that cannot pass the football gets a cover. I don't want any part of a game like this. I lean Liberty. I hate these midweek games. Look, and I get it. And a lot of people sometimes will text me and they'll send me like extra texts like, hey, man, like you didn't send out anything today. You got anything for today? What are we betting on? Like there's a couple games tonight. You don't have to bet everything. Look at these teams. Middle Tennessee versus Jacksonville State. Liberty favored 25.5 over Kennesaw State. You can't be betting games like this if you want to be profitable, man. If you want to have a high winning percentage. These are like high school teams, man. I tried it once last week, and one team lost 2 quarterbacks to injury in the game, and it was a total debacle. I don't touch midweek football, man. I stick to the good stuff, and I win 61% of it. So we're going to stick to what we know. Middle Tennessee State, a 20.5-point spread. I have no idea. Georgia Southern, Old Dominion. I like Old Dominion here. The line just looks short. It looks short. It looks a little sketchy. I thought it'd be 3.5, not 2.5. I like ODU. I like them at home, but the way their season has gone, they looked better in the first part of the season, at least competitive against some of those bigger teams. And this is a down year. This is a down year for Old Dominion. Old Dominion, over the past 3 or 4 seasons, was a team that could knock off a lot of teams. They gave Virginia Tech plenty of problems. We did see them put a pretty good effort against South Carolina this year, but that line just looks fishy to me. I wouldn't be shocked to see either team win that one. That's a coin flip game. Now we can get to some good stuff. Louisville and Boston College. What are we doing here? 7.5-point spread. Well, do you remember last week when Boston College was hanging just over a touchdown of points? I think a lot of people took them, and I actually gave out the opinion. I said in that video where I think at the time Boston College was favored by 6.5 or 7. I said if it got above a touchdown, that I would definitely look more into the game, and I would probably be putting money on Boston College. But I did that research when that line continued to go up, despite the public being all over Boston College versus Virginia Tech. And I found plenty of angles that supported Virginia Tech, and that actually got sent out to the client list. We had action on Virginia Tech, and it was an easy cash. So again, guys, this is only a free pick video. I do it generally pretty early in the week. Obviously, I record these videos on Tuesdays. So take it with a grain of salt. Things change, lines change, things move, news comes out. The picks that I submit over the weekend sometimes are different than what I give out in these videos. For this game, I will be on Boston College, though. I think I'd be taking the points. Am I going to bet this personally? Maybe, maybe not. Louisville's just in a bad spot, man. It's just off the Miami game. Now, if it was in any other spot, I would lay the 7.5, even with the hook. The hook doesn't bother me, and that's a huge trap. When you guys are seeing plus 3.5, plus 7.5, plus 10.5, plus 14.5, you're always tempted to take the bait and take the underdogs. Don't be scared of the hook. The books put the hook on these numbers to screw you guys. When you see a dog of 9.5, 6.5, like just under the threshold of 10, just under a touchdown threshold, you see a dog that's plus 2.5. Those are usually the right sides to be on. So I'm not going to take Boston College here just because I'm getting a touchdown in the hook. I just think they can win this game outright. I think the quarterback play is good enough. Their turnovers concern me a little. Friday night, I think, look, Boston College doesn't have the best nighttime environment. I think it'll be a little bit better here. Louisville coming off a Miami game that they put their heart and soul and came up a little bit short in. That's a flat spot. Maybe they get in and out with a win by more than a touchdown. No way. Boston College would be the play. Boise State, UNLV. This one's coin flippy. I think I'm going to I'm going to go against what I just said. I think I'm going to take the 3.5 here, not because it's 3.5 and I want the hook on the other side of the field goal. If UNLV can make this, can continue to make the plays on offense that they have been, and Boise State's running game isn't quite as potent as it has been, I think they have problems. I think UNLV can win this game outright. In fact, that would probably be my guess. I think UNLV actually wins this game outright. Just not a great spot for Boise here. So I'll take the 3.5 points with a team that I think has a pretty good shot to win the game outright. Rutgers, USC. This line's been kind of all over the place. It was 14.5, 14, 13.5. We'll see where it actually finishes come Friday. But I think you got to bet USC in this spot. I mean, they've had the ability to get some distance on teams, and then they just let them come back. Penn State, Maryland. I mean, we see the same story, but now with the pressure on the coach here, Rutgers The defense really is looking pretty bad. Rutgers cannot pass the ball. The only chance for Rutgers is to come in here to California, which is a long-ass trip on a Friday night, and to kind of punk these USC players to come in and just be more physical, and hopefully their running game is working, and hopefully they can just muck up the game, and maybe they lose by just a touchdown or something. I don't think that's enough, man. I think the talent offensively in this spot, that's where I see the gap. I'd have to lay the points with USC here. Notre Dame, Navy. It's a public dog. Let me read you the money splits on this one. I tell you time and time again in all these videos, I am totally okay being with the whole world on a public side if it's a favorite, because sometimes the data just gets out there. A lot of the pros just put out their videos. A lot of the general consensus on social media, everything just correlates, and everyone in the world is just on the better team in a game, in a contest, and they cash. A public underdog, when everyone thinks an underdog has a real chance, it just doesn't cash. It just doesn't cash. Let's see where the money's at by now. Let's see here. Let me pull this one up. Navy. Where's this Navy game? Here it is. So there's a 12.5 out there as well. There's a 13. DraftKings has a plus 13 if you do like Navy. But look at the money splits. Let's talk about money splits here. 74% of bets made on this game so far against the spread are taking the points. They're going with Navy, only 65% of the money. So a little bit of sharp action on the Notre Dame spread. Look, Navy's look good. Navy and Army. It's been impressive. It's fun to watch. I know a lot of people that are just doing money line parlays every single week with those two teams. Congratulations. Unfortunately, the talent gap is just too big here. I think eventually they wear them down. I don't see Navy's offense being nearly as decent looking versus Notre Dame team. And I get the injuries. I understand that. The line of scrimmage, the overall discipline, and the coaching, I think that is enough of a gap to where that's more than 2 full touchdowns. I'll lay the points with Notre Dame. And I'm not gonna bite on this early. I mean, if you do like Notre Dame in this game, you just wait. Let everybody in the world bet on Navy. See how low of a number we can possibly get. Maybe we can get a 10.5 or something by kick. But I do think Notre Dame's the right side. I think eventually, even if it's late, they take over, they get the job done, they get the distance, they cover the number. Oklahoma, Ole Miss. I believe this is my whiteboard winning free pick of the week. Indeed, it is. Look, I can't bet a game like this. This is why it's the whiteboard winning free pick. I give you guys free picks every single week, and I'm laying the points with Ole Miss. They're coming off a tough game. Probably should have won. They had a bye. Oklahoma's just horrendous. They can't score. I know the defense is decent, and this is a big number. That's why this is a free pick. I'm not going to bet this game. This is still a conference game. 2 historically good programs, almost 3 touchdowns. Can Oklahoma's defense do enough, kind of like Kentucky did, to kind of muck this up and lose by like 2 touchdowns? Maybe. I don't know, man. I like Ole Miss. I think they smack them here. They need a statement kind of win. I think Ole Miss wins by 30. This Oklahoma team, they got some problems. So Ole Miss minus 20.5. Here's your free pick of the week. I think that's just a substantially better team playing at home, coming off a bye. I think they're refocused. Oklahoma, they just don't have a pulse, man. They got some problems over there. I'll lay the big number with Ole Miss. Back to the picks. Back to the rest of the picks. North Carolina and Virginia. I bet Virginia last week. That was one of our winners. Very, very, very sharp play with the entire universe on Clemson. We snuck in there and got a backdoor cover with Virginia. It should have been a lot easier than it was because Clemson, man, someone on that staff, whether it's Dabo or the OC, somebody's betting Clemson football in that Clemson program. Even with the game totally over and only so much time left, Clemson kept trying to score, and they did get a late score, and they were all happy. But then Virginia strikes back and gets the backdoor cover. It was almost a double backdoor cover by Virginia last week, but it was the sharp side, the right side. No doubt about it. It was never in doubt. We cashed with Virginia. Here, I don't know. I feel like if Virginia wins this game for some weird reason, as bad as that North Carolina season has been, I think they slide in here and they cover 4.5. I think Virginia probably wins by a field goal. I'll take the points. Nebraska, Ohio State, really tough. Really, really tough. I mean, what do we get from Nebraska here? I'm worried about their mentality, but physically, I think physically they can do okay here to cover the number. And because they're coming off such an embarrassing loss, I think this value comes on Nebraska in this spot. I think if Nebraska pulled off the upset or was at least competitive in that Indiana game, that this would be more like 20 and a half, right around 3 touchdowns, not 25 and a half. And 25 and a half is north of those key numbers of 21, 23, and 24. And I could easily see any of those 3 numbers being the final margin in this game. I'll take the points with Nebraska. I think they do enough here. They can stick around. They can cover this number. As long as they can score like 13 to 17 points, I think they can cover here. I think this is kind of an uglier game. Tulane, North Texas, not really sure here. I think this is a very sharp line. I think the spread's exactly where it has to be. If you could flip-flop where the game was played, I'd be on Tulane at home. I can't take them in this spot. This is a pass. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, a 10.5-point spread. Interesting game. Interesting game. It looks very inviting to take Georgia Tech. But, man, they are dead in the water without a healthy Haynes King, and that is a big, big problem. Virginia Tech still has some potential here to get something done in the ACC. They're playing better. I trust them at home. Hopefully they won't do what they did with Boston College and give up such a huge lead so quickly. But I do think that was a learning lesson. I think they'll keep their foot on the gas here and eventually get distance and cover the number. This is one where what I said before might come into reality, where you're tricked by getting 10 and the hook, and it looks very inviting to take the points here. I'll lay the 10 and a hook with Virginia Tech. Washington, Indiana. This seems like a trap. Let's look at the money splits on this one, because the whole universe has got to be on Indiana. They have to be. They just have to be. It's under a touchdown. It looks so tempting. Washington's had a bad year. What are the money splits on this game? It's still a noon game, isn't it? Where is this game? There's this game. What are we looking at? We got to be looking at some sharp money on Washington. Indeed, we are. 57.2% of bets made on this spread are on Indiana. Only 45% of the money. I'm going to go with the sharp action. I'm not saying this is an upset. It could be. Washington could out physical them. If they get good quarterback play, Washington can upset Indiana. I have been the upset caller this year. I called the Vandy over, what was it, Bama? I called that. There's a whole bunch other. I mean, you guys got to go back through the videos. I have been the long shot upset caller. Now, this spread isn't the biggest upset in the world. You're only looking at plus 205 on Washington. The spread, the low money line, everyone on Indiana, sharp action on Washington. I think this is a field goal or a 4-point margin game. Give me the points with Washington in this one. Charlotte and Memphis, that's a pass. I think the spread's accurate. I think Memphis wins this game. I think they win it pretty comfortably. It's just, does the spread come into play or not? Very, very tough game to predict. Slight lean of the home team. Hate the game. Pass. Arkansas, Miss State. I think Arkansas is dead to me. I gave them a shot with LSU. But this would be such classic Arkansas. This would be such classic Arkansas. They always lay an egg in those certain spots, man. I did not think it was going to be off of a bye week at home versus a top-ranked team. Can't believe they didn't get the upset. They beat Tennessee at home. You couldn't beat LSU or at least be competitive. That game was over from the start. This line looks a little bit short to me as well. Does Arkansas go to Miss State and get a W? Boy, I really don't know. I really don't know. This is probably a game where Mississippi State feels like they can finally get a win here. This one's going to be close. I guess I'll take the points with Miss State. Georgia State, App State, no clue. Probably laying the points with App State, but man, I think I took a chance with them in week 2 or 3, and they just looked miserable. And that was at home on like a Thursday or a Friday night. They were just pathetic. I can't touch them, but here I think I'd lay the 7.5. Central Michigan, Miami, Ohio, I have no idea. I like Miami, Ohio. They are the better team. I have an extremely hard time believing this would be an upset, but 11.5 feels a bit rich. I thought this would be an 8 or a 9.5 point spread. Probably a pass there. Still lean Miami, Ohio. It's just hard to believe they're going to have enough distance, especially with a total of only 46.5 to get over that number. Maybe they win by 10 or 11. Temple, ECU, pass. Who's betting that? Northwestern and Iowa. Do we trust Iowa to beat anybody? Like 2 touchdowns? I mean, I bet on Iowa against Washington. the very week after I bet on Washington over Michigan. I've had a pretty good feel for the Big Ten this year. This game, I don't know. My gut says take the points with Northwestern. I really want to take the points with Northwestern. I feel like I was going to win by like 10. It's a low total. I'm a little bit concerned Northwestern's not even going to score much in this one. I'm still going to do it. I will take the points with Northwestern. Not in love with that one. Northern Illinois, Ball State. Boy, this looks like a tricky little spread. I think I'm going to take the points with Ball State. Northern Illinois gets the job done, just not by this type of a margin. Maybe a 10-point win. A very, very slight backdoor cover by Ball State, perhaps. UTSA and Tulsa, pass. No idea. Illinois, Oregon. Boy, that is a ton of points. Now, look, Illinois, I worry about the mentality of the team in a spot like this. But Oregon is a very tricky team. Very, very, very tricky team. Oregon, I'm not even kidding. That plus 980 as a 3-touchdown underdog, I do think is live. If we get the right type of game and the ball bounces the right way, I think Illinois can win this game outright. But it's just got to be like the ugliest game ever. Oregon, I do think will improve every single week. I think it's a team that I don't even know if they're going to reach their potential this year. We have a coaching advantage for Oregon. We have an overall roster of talent advantage for Oregon. I just don't know we have the physical presence to win over Illinois by this type of a margin. Boy, it looks like bait to me. If I was just going psychologically, I'd lay the points. I can't believe the bookmakers would give us this many points. I thought the spread would be 16.5, 17.5, not 21.5. I don't like being on big public dogs. Let's look at the money splits. I would imagine the whole world's on Illinois, especially coming off the Michigan game. And yes, we did have a ticket on Illinois last week. Again, guys, my opinion, my accuracy on the Big Ten games this year has been extremely good. Let's see what the money splits are here. By the way, there's an even 21 on Bet Rivers. So if you do like Oregon, Bet Rivers is the book for you as of now. God, this is ugly. 87. This is so ugly. This is hard for me to even read out loud. 87% of bets on the spread are on Illinois. 80% of the money. That is not good, folks. Is that enough to keep me off this game? Maybe, maybe not. That is not good. That is the definition of a public underdog. Is this an absolute beatdown coming? And Oregon making a statement game? It could be. Kent State, Western Michigan, pass. Wake Forest, Stanford, ugly, ugly game. I'll lean Wake, but my God, they barely could handle UConn. It's just the quarterback situation for Stanford so bad. Southern Miss, JMU, no clue. That's a very comfortable win for JMU, but 24.5 is crazy, even to a bad Southern Miss team. I'd lean Southern Miss in the points. Not looking to get involved there. Those home games at JMU, they can get blown out of proportion. That could be a 10-point win or a 50-point win. A lot of variance in a game like that. Bowling Green, Toledo, total coin flip. Kind of feel like Bowling Green money line would be the play here. I'm usually a guy who will tell you if you can get a point, if you can get 2 points, take the points if you like the dog. Not here, man. Bowling Green either shows up or they don't. I'd be looking at that plus 106 money line, Bowling Green. Eastern Michigan, Akron, pass. BYU, UCF. Okay, let's bring up the money splits for this one. Guys, this is like a college basketball spread. When you see in college hoops on like a Tuesday in the Big 12 where West Virginia is a home 1-point favorite to like number 3 Kansas in the country, you already know what to do. Let's see how bad the money splits are. This is a 3:30 game. Where is this game on here? Here it is. Here it is. How bad is it? I'm actually stunned. I'm actually shocked and stunned. 30% of bets. This might be the best looking money splits I've seen this week. Only 30% of bets on this game. Now I'm going on the money line, not the spread here, because look at the number. Anyone who's betting this game is going to bet that money line. Only 30% of bets on this game are on UCF, but 60% of the money. That is there are some wise guys and some sharp action here on UCF. And I'm also going to be on that side. I think BYU's trip all the way down there to Central Florida is not very fun. BYU very lucky to escape that Oklahoma State game. By the way, we did bet Oklahoma State in that game, so I have a pretty good feel for BYU right now as well. The bookmakers are not going to hang out the number 11 team in the country as a short underdog to a pathetic UCF team. The only argument I could possibly make for BYU is one, they are the better football team. That has nothing to do with it. This is sports. We're betting on sports. Certain things just happen, and you just have to get fucking used to it. 11 in the country. They're not even a favorite to UCF. The only thing, guys, let's calm down. The only thing is UCF put their heart and soul and energy into that Iowa State game. And last week I told you UCF was live, and they didn't quite get it done. So was that the game that was supposed to be the one last gasp, the one last big win for UCF? And now that they came up just short, can they get back up for a game like this? I think they can. I'm just going to go with the odds makers. I'm not going to bet on a line like that. I am not betting on the number 11 team in the country and taking them at minus 108 on a money line or plus 1.5. I won't do it. UCF's winning this game. Texas Tech, TCU. Feels like too many points here. TCU, I feel like they're going to get the job done. They're going to squeak out a win here. I think it's a field goal game. I think it's a field goal margin, 3 or 4. I'll take the 6.5 with Texas Tech. Rice, UConn, pass. God-awful teams. Missouri, Alabama. So this one is tough to bet on because of the variance. What are we going to get from Missouri? No, I don't think anybody knows. I mean, what are we doing here? You guys have got to load up the comment section for this particular game. Are you taking the points? There is a potential. There is a certain potential in this game for Missouri to win outright. Everybody knows Alabama is not that good. We've seen the fall off since Saban left town. Alabama football is good, but not that good. I feel like the spread is too much here, but the variance of what you could possibly get from Missouri makes a game and a wager like this extremely hard. If we can get a locked in full potential Missouri team, then this game absolutely comes down to the wire, and I think Missouri wins the game outright. But look what happened when Missouri went on the road to Texas A&M. One of the most pathetic games I've ever witnessed, ever, in any sport, anywhere, any point in history. It was pathetic. So it's hard for me to trust Missouri. But my God, the roster, certain players, they have the potential to win this outright. I'll take the points with Missouri. Oklahoma State, Baylor. Interesting. Oklahoma State, I really, really feel like they're in the same situation as UCF in terms of they put everything into that BYU game just to give it away in the last minute. That has got to be crushing. Baylor's playing better ball. Baylor's at home. Mike Gundy, how many games could he possibly lose in a row? I hate going against a losing streak with Mike Gundy. But Mike Gundy was substantially better coming out of a bye week. That's why I bet Oklahoma State over BYU with that big spread. They probably should have won the game outright. 6.5. Boy, I don't think it's enough. I think Baylor's playing better football. I think not quite getting that BYU win really broke the back of this Oklahoma State team. I think the players are going to kind of quit in this one. I can't trust Bowman. Give me Baylor. Lay the 6.5. I like the favorite. Maryland, Minnesota. I think we got to go Minnesota here. God, I wish the money line was a little more doable. Maryland coming off a huge, huge win makes them very hard to trust. Even getting 4.5 points in this spot. It's just situational football, man. You beat a team like USC. Now you're on the road to Minnesota and you're getting 4.5. Looks too easy. Let's see. Is Maryland a public dog? Let's look at the money splits for this game, guys. Is Maryland a public underdog this week? By the way, on that Oklahoma State and Baylor game, there is a 7 out there. That makes me a little more comfortable laying 6.5 with Baylor. But let's look at this Minnesota game. Nope, I'm wrong. The money is just all over Minnesota. So maybe everybody's expecting Maryland to come back down to earth here, not being on their home field. I don't know. Maybe that's one where the public cashes it slightly into Minnesota. No, thank you. Oregon State, Cal. Who's betting this? Who's watching this? Probably nobody. Pass. Texas, Vandy. Look, at the end of the day here, is Texas a good football team or no? Because they had a light schedule coming into that Georgia game, and they got blasted. Are they going to lose this game outright? I think they could. Just because Vandy has some big wins notched in their belt, we just have to write them off now? What was that? The only fun that Vanderbilt's allowed to have? This is a good football team. They beat Virginia Tech. They beat Kentucky. And we saw the big game over Bama. 18.5 is crazy. Maybe this is a public underdog that I'm willing to actually go with. Let's see how bad the money splits are. Is there anything alarming? I mean, we know we're going to get a focused Texas team. Yeah, God, money splits are bad. Oh, God, they're so bad. Oh, my God. Everybody just hold your breath. Everybody do a deep breath. I'm going to read you this data and just try to control yourself. Now, it's early in the week. So let's wait. Let's even watch this on Saturday and see where things end up. But as of now, 86%. 86 fucking percent of bets made on the spread in this Vandy game are on Vanderbilt. Only about 65% of the money. That's one of the biggest public underdogs I've ever seen. And God, I hate to agree with them, but man, I think we're going to get a focused Texas team. I think offensively, Texas might kind of have a breakout week here. This looks like bait to me. I got to go against my gut feeling and my better judgment. Just thinking as a bookmaker, the money splits, what I think everybody's going to be betting on. Texas, lay the points. UL Monroe, South Bama, pass. New Mexico, Colorado State, pass. I mean, come on, guys. Do you really want my opinion on those games? I like the South Alabama offense. I'm not laying 7.5 with them. Colorado State at home, I like them. Do I want to lay any type of points with them? Not really. So that's kind of how I feel there. Maybe just money line parlay. South Bama, Colorado State, maybe just tease those together or money line parlay those together. Florida State, Miami. Wouldn't this be something? If Florida State showed up and won this game outright, it's coming, man. Miami's going to lose. I thought it was going to be Louisville. Should have been Virginia Tech. Should have been Cal. Is it absolutely insane to take a money line shot here at plus 810 with Florida State? The roster is still good. This is a rivalry. This is an in-state rivalry. Is that enough? I think this game's actually going to be competitive. I'll take the points with Florida State. I don't think this is an upset, though. You can't stop that Miami offense. And if you're going to bet Florida State, probably bet them in the first half. Because if it's ugly early, they're just going to cave. And Miami's just going to put it on them. Utah, Houston, 3.5 point spread. Should actually be a pretty good game here. Line is definitely scary for Utah people. It looks short to me. Houston's one of these teams where it's just like bad game. Oh, surprise win. And just repeat the cycle. Is this a surprise win? Maybe not, but I'm actually going to take 3.5. I will take the points with Houston here. I think this is a competitive football game. Troy, Arkansas State, pass. Troy's just had a bad year. Normally, I'd be all over Troy there. I mean, I would slam it. I put my life on it. That type of a number versus Arkansas State. They're just that program right now. It's just bad. No, thank you. Laid the points with Arizona. Morgantown is just it ain't good. Neil Brown's done. He will be fired. It's just a matter of when, not if. Absolutely punked on their home field, back-to-back, Iowa State and Kansas State. Now, those are good football teams. Every single loss that West Virginia has is a damn good football team. Undefeated, highly ranked Penn State. Undefeated, highly ranked Iowa State. Undefeated, highly ranked Pitt. And not undefeated, but highly ranked Kansas State. Those are the losses for West Virginia. They've beaten Oklahoma State on the road by 1,000,000. They've beaten the rest of their opponents. They beat Kansas, who's a pretty good team, found a way to beat Kansas at home. I can't do it, man. The injuries have piled up. Arizona off 2 horrible games. I think offensively, Arizona does well here. I'll lay the points. It was a much lower number. Now it's up to 3.5. It's getting in a scary land. But I think once again, Mountaineers are going to be heartbroken. They're going to lose another one. Whether they fight or not, I don't really care. Maybe the running game's enough. I don't know. I can't trust them. They stuck. Their defense it's bad. Maybe take the over in this game if you want to take the points out of it. Over 54.5. Utah State, Wyoming pass, no clue. Penn State, Wisconsin. This is a good one here. I think everybody is waiting for Penn State to screw up. I told you guys, week 2, as soon as I got back to town, because I was in Morgantown for the West Virginia and Penn State game, I watched this Penn State team play in person. I've watched a lot of football games. And I told everybody, and I was very adamant about it, that I'm just like, now, was I drunk? Yeah, I was definitely drunk. But I definitely was impressed by the speed, the size. I was just watching Penn State in person look just so wildly more impressive than a West Virginia roster and football team that at the time, a lot of people were calling for maybe a sleeper in the Big 12, maybe even a backdoor playoff team. I don't know, man. This Penn State team's for real. Wisconsin's definitely playing better. It's still Wisconsin. This is a night game. It will be an impressive environment. I don't see Penn State slipping up. I don't see it. They had a nice comeback against USC. Now, do they cover 6.5? I still think so. I'm still going to look for laying the points with Penn State here. I don't see it. I think this will be a popular underdog pick of the week. I think a lot of people might be sprinkling that Wisconsin money line. People be calling for an upset. I don't see the slip up happening. I think Penn State is a national championship contender. Not just because they're 3 in the country, but I will put them in my top 3. Let's look at the money splits on this game. I would guess that Wisconsin is receiving plenty of wagers. And it's the opposite. It's actually the opposite. The money splits, they look wonderful for Wisconsin. Now, like I said, and I say this all the time, it's so early in the week, man. It's a Tuesday as I'm recording this video. I mean, there's just not a lot of wagers on this game. Only about 30 grand has been wagered on this game, but at least for the early money, only 37% of bets on that spread have come on Wisconsin, but over 60% of the money, at least for early sharp action, it is on Wisconsin. Maybe Penn State gets out of there with a 3 or a 4-point win. LSU, Texas A&M. I mean, Saturday night, even the game below this that we'll get to in a second here, Michigan State, and those teams are bad, but at least it's a rivalry. These games are phenomenal. Saturday night is going to be just outstanding. I think that's even more reason. If you haven't yet, if you've been on the team before, go in the description. Even if you just want this week, man, just get 1 week of picks. I've been hitting it 61% for the past 3 weeks. $29. Know what I'm betting on. I will have some of these night games bet on. I'm not sure which ones yet. Saturday night is going to be so much fun. There's so much good football on. You want to know what bets to ride on Saturday night. LSU, Texas A&M. Let's bring up the money splits for this one. Again, early in the week, but at least for an early idea here, let's check out what we're looking at. And there's a 3 out there. One book is hanging a 3. LSU is pretty public here. Was I surprised at how good they looked versus Arkansas? I don't know. It looked more to me like Arkansas was just totally disengaged mentally. And I was stunned by that. I actually had a ticket on Arkansas. That was one of my 3 losses all last week. I don't know. I still can't trust that defense. Texas A&M, they handled Missouri at home. LSU, I think, is better than Missouri. Just offensively, do they have enough offensive firepower to hang in this game? Yes. I don't see any of these teams. Actually, where'd that just go? I didn't even hit anything. They just take that off the board. I don't know. It was weird. I don't think any of these teams, this is going to be within a touchdown, in my opinion. If you're a teaser person, now you should try to avoid teasers the best you can in college. At least keep it to 2 teams. I think LSU on a teaser is fine. I got a hard time believing that A&M is going to win by big margin here. But that environment, public on the dog, LSU is, I don't know how they got ranked 8th, man. This team doesn't have a defense, okay? We're starting to get a little out of control on LSU. They don't have Perkins. The quarterback play could be the difference, though. Make no mistake about it. The edge in quarterback goes to LSU. The edge in home field environment goes to the home team. The edge in coaching, I think, is a slight edge to A&M. I don't trust Brian Kelly in these type of big games. Now, he was 12-0 in home night games for that Ole Miss game, so that trend supported LSU. But in general, he doesn't win games like this. If we get good enough quarterback play from A&M, which is a risk, A&M's going to get the job, and they're going to get the job done. They're going to cover. It's a little risky betting on a team with the worst, maybe the offenses in general. I'd say the advantage for sure goes to LSU, and that's always scary because if a team can't score and offensively they're struggling, they're fucked. I'm going to go with A&M here. That's probably a game you just want to watch, man. Just have fun. Just have fun. Maybe whatever team scores first, regardless of who it is, live bet the other team on whatever the point spread is. If you get more than a field goal on either side, maybe a good way to go. Michigan State here. Good rivalry. I expect a close game. I'll take the points. Michigan, I mean, the offense that they have, they just simply should not be favored by this type of a margin over just about anybody. Throw in a little bit of a rivalry, throw in a little bit of better football being played by the Spartans. It's a field goal game. Someone's winning by a field goal. I'll take the 4.5. Auburn, Kentucky. I'll take Kentucky in this one. They had some ugly games early. They had some impressive games. You know, they dropped games like the Vandy game, but those are okay. South Carolina, that game was just horrendous. But looking back in time, that was kind of the peak of South Carolina's season. Kentucky was in a look-ahead spot. Maybe you can give them an excuse. That Auburn offense versus that Kentucky defense is a big, big problem. Now, Kentucky might not score at all, and that's concerning. But home field here, kind of the bottom teams of the conference. If Kentucky can even score like 17 points, I think they're going to win this game. I'd be looking at the under. I think Auburn's going to really struggle offensively. Kansas State and Kansas here. Another rivalry game. I mean, this is a great week, man. There are great games going on, and this line is too big. 10.5 is too much here. Look, Kansas could easily be like a 2-loss team. I mean, they have a lot of losses, but they're like that, man. I mean, barely lost to West Virginia, barely lost here, barely lost there. Kansas State, it helps significantly being at home, a home night game at Kansas State. That is a massive advantage. And I do think that's contributed to the line being up at 10.5, but this is a rivalry. Kansas is more than capable. That is a good roster with a good coach. The coaching is about equal here. The rosters, they're about equal. This is equal. It's just, one team's ranked 16, have a bunch of wins. One team has a bad record and it's looked bad this year. Kansas got a win last week. I think the momentum carries over. Rivalry game. I don't see this margin getting outside of a touchdown. I think this is a lower single-digit win. This could be an upset. You might want to sprinkle that plus 265 on Kansas. That's just how these games go, man. I mean, this is college football. That's just sports. It's a rivalry. One team's look great, coming off a big win, but West Virginia sucks. So is Kansas State a little inflated? Is their ranking a little inflated? Kansas State's disappointing season, is that a little bit of an overreaction? Daniel still has potential. They have a good running back. They have a pretty good line of scrimmage. They have a pretty good secondary. They both have mobile quarterbacks. They both are offensively capable. They both have good coaching. It's a rivalry. 10.5. That's a pretty big margin for a game like that. SMU and Duke here. Worry a little bit about the SMU offense. Worry about a little bit of the shared information between coaching staffs on both of these teams. Make me think this game might be a little bit closer than it should, but Duke is way overrated. And I know they're not ranked, but my God, man, Duke has overachieved this year. I don't think Duke's that good. I'll lay the points. I don't love it. It's a ranked team. There's going to be ranked teams that lose every week. I'll still lay the points. Don't love that one. Fresno, San Jose State, maybe the over. Cincy, Colorado. This line continues to go up. I think it was a 4.5 at open or a 4. It's up to 5.5. We'll see if it continues to go up. I mean, Colorado, obviously a big public bet. They've looked pretty good. But Cincy's a pretty good team too. And Cincy can win in the trenches. I think they're capable. Does Colorado lose this game outright? I think they could. I think Cincy could win this game. We'll see how high this line goes. I mean, if we start getting in a 6.5 range, you take the points. This game should be close. I mean, Colorado's not going to kill Cincy. If Colorado was at Cincy, Cincy would outright win the game. So is home field that much? I don't know, man. I don't know here. I think Cincy's probably the play. Cincy and the points. Washington State, San Diego State, no idea. It's not going to be an upset, but I don't know about the spread. Nevada, Hawaii, coin flip a coin, no idea. Go play roulette, do something else. And that's it. That is it. That is another week. That is week number 9, college football. This is the peak of the season, man. This is it. We're right in October, the heart of October, a little bit late in October. We got basketball in the mix. We got great rivalries. We got big time matchups. The playoffs, we're going to really start talking about the college football playoffs soon and all that stuff. This is an excellent time of the year. You get more value being on my team. You get all of my plays. Whatever package you get on the website, just as one last little note here, just if you were confused, it's not just football. I've been betting just football. But yeah, man, if I have a bet here on the World Series, if I find some NBA stuff I like, if I have some college basketball coming in the mix, you all get it. Anybody who's on the text list, any wager I'm going to make and submit myself, I send that right out to the client list. It's that simple. The link is in the description. Hop on board. We're going to continue, guys. We're going to continue, man. Look at the numbers. 61% over 3 weeks. The big bets will start. They'll start hitting. They're going to start hitting this week. We got a lot of big plays. Good luck, everybody. Again, hit that like button. 500 likes. I'll come back, put my best pick, my best premium pick in the comments. You guys came up like 40 likes short last week. You got the video to like 460. The videos week after week get thousands of views, thousands and thousands of views. These videos get every week. I just need 500 free. It takes a millisecond. Tap that thumbs up. Let me give you the premium play. I'll see you guys in the next video.